My thoughts are we have to all vote and get this maniac out of office so we can go back to normal life. I think that would help.
And when it comes to racism, what would you like to see, a single person do to try and end it, or try to, try to better our country in that respect?
Well, I think it all starts with kind of where the top and the attitudes at the top from our government. So the result is, because we have a racist president, it's trickling down through the country. And I think the most important thing is, if once he passes on, we were going in the right direction, and I hopefully that will continue once we say goodbye to him.
Jason Blum, listen, you're a highly successful producer, so congratulations on that. You made some comments. I just kind of wanted to take a look at here and discuss the perspective. The comment is this. This is the quote that I'm pulling recently, or making some political remarks. And you said, regarding the president, that we have to all vote and get this maniac out of office so we can get back to normal life. And you further go on to say, again, this is a quote, I think it all starts with the attitudes at the top from our government, so that the result is we have a racist, it's trickling down through the country. So I guess I wanted to talk to you, about that perspective, because in America, the way our society is constructed, and the relationship between our society and our government is constructed, is that the government is a reflection of we the people, not the reverse. You see, when you and I got ready this morning, we looked in a mirror at some point today. We looked in a mirror, but we didn't get confused about, when we were looking in the mirror, about what was actual and what was the reflection. We weren't confused by that. And I think it's important to not get confused in the relationship between, here in America, between the society and the government, which is the actual and which is the reflection, if you take my meaning. Because you said it all starts with the attitudes at the top from our government. That's not how the society is built. That's actually, whether you realize or whether you think about it this way, is kind of a Marxist perspective on the relationship between a government and a society. That the government and the politicians and all that little group is somehow the source of everything that's going on in the society. But that's not how it is. The founders of America believed the opposite of that. They believed that the morals and the ethics, or the lack thereof, of the society would either translate into liberty, if we adhered to the principles and the ethics and the morals found in the Bible, or they would translate into tyranny if we rejected, we being the individuals who make up the society, if we chose to reject the principles, morals, and ethics that were found in the Bible as our compass. Here's a quote, if you'll just indulge me here for a second to back up what it is that I just said. John Adams said, "We have no government armed with power capable of contending with human passions unbridled by morality and religion. Avarice, ambition, revenge, or gallantry would break the strongest cords of our Constitution as a whale goes through a net. Our Constitution is designed only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate for any other. Okay, that's John Adams. Here's a quote from George Washington. Of all the dispositions and habits which lead to political prosperity, religion and morality are indispensable supports. In vain would that man claim the tribute of patriotism who should labor to subvert these great pillars of human happiness, these firmest props of the duties of men and citizens. That's George Washington. That's the indispensable man who shouldered the responsibility of facing off with the world's greatest military at that time. So the perspective here is a radically different one of the relationship between the society and the government. In America, the government is just a reflection of what's going on in the society. So it's not as if you can, vote out a politician that you disagree with, and somehow it's like a magic pill, and suddenly the society is healed and better and whole, and that's the opposite of the way it works here. If there's something that's troubling going on within our government, the source of it has to, we have to look within ourselves as a society, within ourselves as individuals, and say, are we on the right path here, ethically, morally? And who defines that path? Who defines what is right and wrong? Well, you can tell just by going back to the words of our founders, what that source was, how they defined right and wrong. It was found in the scriptures. That was the source. That was how it was defined. So I just wanted to kind of talk about that perspective on the relationship between people and government. You said that if somehow the president was drummed out of office, we could get back to a normal life. I'm kind of curious, what is a normal life to you? What does that mean? How is your life right now less normal because of a politician in Washington? Just curious about that. You've got a film right now out that you actually, I think you're referring to it, as I was reading in the article, as some sort of a metaphor for things that are actually going on. Look, the film is a piece of art. It's a violent. I haven't seen it, but the description of the movie, and the movie is called The Purge. Here, I'll read a description of it. Quote, "A society that becomes lawless for one night with the aim of reducing overall crime." Okay, you do know that that's an oxymoron, right? Abandoning law to reduce crime. That's kind of like a fat person binging on donuts and cake and ice cream and milkshakes all night long, hoping that the next day they'll be thinner. It's kind of like giving a drug addict $5 million to go buy all the coke and meth and uppers and hallucinogens and heroin that they could get their hands on, so that they can get, strung out high all night, and if they survive it, in hopes that the next day they would be free from addiction. It's nonsensical. I think probably at some level, I hope that you know that doesn't make actual sense, and that it's not a metaphor for the society in which we live. But there's some unusual perspectives there that you were voicing. Thought I would just bring the perspective of the people who actually made our country into the light here, and hope that that maybe by understanding that really whoever sits in the White House cannot determine the normalcy of your life, and also that when we're looking to problem solve issues in our society, or if we're looking to problem solve issues in our government, then the places that we need to be looking, are within. And we need to specifically be revisiting the definitions and the source of what do we decide, what have we agreed with in terms of what is moral, what is ethical, and what is the source that we're going to go to help us understand what is moral and ethical. And like I said, the people who made the country were looking to the scriptures as the source of what that meant. So I hope that maybe in some way relieves you of whatever stresses you may be feeling, like somehow somehow America has turned into the craziness of the films that you're making. It's not. And it's certainly not, if there is, to whatever degree there is craziness going on in our society. I won't disagree that there are issues in our society. I'm just saying politics is not the source of the problem. And it's also not the answer. If we have moral and ethical problems, if we have spiritual problems, then they require a spiritual answer. So those are my thoughts. Hey, thanks for listening to this. If you like this or whatever, if you have some comments to make, feel free to leave comments below. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day.